We're going to be looking at a trend that is sweeping TikTok, and that is single moms sharing their plight on the platform. And it's happening in TikTok and other social media platforms as well. So I think it was worth our time kind of delving into this thing. Now, it might be a little overwrought to say that the trends that are happening on TikTok will find their way into the mainstream, but I hope by now, looking at the statistics of Gen Z and seeing that the vast majority of Gen Zers are now adopting a divergent sexual identity that they have made up on the fly. Hopefully, by now, we're done with the dismissive idea that that vocal minority won't have an impact on the majority, because it certainly does. And so, especially when it comes to the fatherlessness epidemic in our nation and the necessity of a child to have both parents in the home parenting the child, I think it's important for us to kind of just take a peek over at TikTok and see what this single mom trend is all about and see if we can't offer some helpful advice. So I'll show the first one here.
Me personally, I will be having no more children. My daughter is going to be the only kid I have. She's going to be an only child because I refuse to go through more postpartum depression by myself, more healing by myself, going through pregnancy by myself, and raising a baby by myself. Because so many men and women tell single mothers to choose better, but there's no such thing as choosing a better man, because any man can make you into a single mother. No matter if you're engaged to that man, no matter if you are married to that man, no matter if you've been with that man for 4 years, any man can make you a single mother. And for all the women who are raising children, multiple kids by themselves, and are single mothers, I applaud you, because you are very freaking strong.
So while it may be easy to take notice of the fact that this just sounds like a bitter rant, I want to first of all just go ahead and grant the premise. What this girl says is, partially true. One, any man can make you a single mom in the same way that any meteor in space might find its way to this Earth and Armageddon style destroy the Earth. But there's no accounting for here the kind of decision making that the individual is making to bring these kind of men into their life. So if you find a good man, the chances are less likely. Now, the other premise that I'll grant is that it is very difficult to be a parent, and certainly women deal with things, especially in delivery, that men don't deal with. So being a parent is hard. She is right. But this is where she goes off the rails a little bit. The fact that she's condemning herself to a life of singleness and to a life where she only wants to have one child just simply means that the situation that she's in, that she will continue to find herself in. The answer should rather be, I will continue to make sure that my decision making improves, because I understand how important it is to find a good man. See, she's ultimately punishing herself, which doesn't seem too odd in a generation where more and more people are adopting progressive principles and finding out that the progressive principle of cutting off your nose to spite your face is probably the most common. Now, not only is she condemning herself to a life of singleness and to a life where nothing will help her offset the difficulty of the chores of raising a child and leading a home, but she's also punishing her child. She says in the TikTok that she's only going to have one child. She's not having any more children because any man can leave her at any point in time, leaving her to be a single mom and to parent these kids without the help of a man in the home. So now she's condemning also her child to a life of just being a single child and not having a sibling. And of course, we know what that robs you of. You will never, ever have to share your G.I. Joes. You will never, ever have to knock on the door of the bathroom waiting for your sibling to get out. And you will never have someone else use your toothbrush. Now, these are all very damaging things, obviously, to a child. But more importantly, the most damaging thing about all of this is that a child needs two parents. It needs a mother and a father in the home, and your child should not pay the consequences for your bad decision making, especially when it comes to men. So a child needs a mom and a dad, and the reason for that is evident from this TikTok as we see this person who is complaining about their own decision making, while also being fair to note that it might also be the fact that this individual thought that they were marrying a good person. But I think that that really needs to come under some scrutiny if we continue to make bad decisions and they find us in a position that that ultimately puts us in a place where we don't want to be. At what point in time do we finally say, well, the person on the other end of this may be the problem, but also I may be the problem? But that won't stop some people from complaining, like this dear woman.
I'm a single mum. Hair not washed, been up literally all night last night, sitting cracking on, doing my ironing, just cleaned 3 bathrooms, bleach all over my new bloody Essentials hoodie. Yes, I'm absolutely dead. Do you know what? And I've been sitting while I'm ironing, scrolling TikTok in the background, and came across a good few videos about single mums.
Again, we see being a single mom is definitely hard, as illustrated by this woman in this video. But I do have to make mention of something. If she is so busy and so consumed being a single mom, how come she has time to make this TikTok video? Just asking for a friend here. But also, not only is she making the time to make this TikTok video, she's making the time to do something that I think we need to notice about the single mom trend, and it runs through all of these TikTok videos. Complaining this much in public shouldn't be taken for granted. If this person is willing to complain this much in public, can you imagine what she does within the context of her own home? Could it be that that kind of complaining is the very thing that causes her to be a single mom? Because there's not a single man on the planet that wants to marry their mother. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that there is not responsibility on both sides here, but complaining consistently is a surefire way to have an unhappy marriage. And again, this person is complaining to a bunch of strangers. So just a quick pro tip here for any single mom out there, and certainly for the ladies. Men don't want to marry their mother, so don't act like their mother. If you're a single mom, parent your kids and find a man, not by complaining, because that's kind of not that attractive. All right, here's our final TikTok.
Thing to say about, I just complain about how shitty dating is and yada, yada, yada. Well, I seem to attract player douchebags. I don't know if that's all that's left, or if I've been hurt so many times, I feel safe with that. I don't know. Regardless, I like to be treated like a lady. I like to get taken on dates. I like my door opened. Heaven forbid you open my.
All right, so we talked about complaining before, and now we're going to talk about choices. So all there is douchebags and players. So I can almost guarantee you that this girl goes to clubs trying to pick up a man and then whines about the quality of men she is finding at clubs. She's whining about the fact that the men leave her pregnant, with an STD, with bills, and with nothing to show for it in terms of relationship. Now, I can almost guarantee you that not only is this individual looking for men in all the wrong places and, continuing to make bad decisions and blame other people for them, but I can guarantee you she's not going to church to try to find a good guy. By the way, if you're looking for a man to open the door for you, for crying out loud, then church is a great place for that. They're called greeters, and they open the door for people regardless of your age, gender, or anything like that. They will open the door for you. So it's a little bit like heaven on earth, quite frankly. So you maybe just a little pro tip here. You want to find a good guy? Go to good places to find them, and then make them prove themselves in terms of their morality and their character, and then you might not have this issue. So is the single mom trend something that is totally self-inflicted? Not always, but very often. And if we're not at least willing to acknowledge the fact that our own decision making and our own choices about who we're bringing into our home and who we're choosing to be the parent of our kid, if there's no accounting for that decision making, then don't be surprised when you find yourself in this situation. And here's the real problem at the end of the day. What people want is casual sex, and then they get surprised by the fact that casual sex sometimes ends up in a not so casual child. And if you actually have enough of a conscience not to abort that child, then you are stuck with a child and no father to help raise that kid. So here's just a wild idea at the end of the day. Before you start having sex with an individual, maybe you should ask yourself if that person is actually, I don't know, fatherhood material. So you just got done watching a small excerpt of a much larger episode. You can find the link to that full episode down below in the description of this video. So you definitely need to check that out, because if you like that clip, you'll like the much larger episode. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click that little bell to be notified when great new episodes of Indie Thinker come your way. Thanks for watching.